Hello everyone, I am Left, and welcome to my quick overview of the brand new, as of today, Update 2.11. So, Update 2.11 comes with a lot of new things for Vainglory. Some of these new fun things include the Championship Catherine skin, Mall Santa Rhyme, the new hero Varia, and the new game mode Onslaught. Onslaught, to start off, is very fun. I haven't really figured out the best strategy for it yet, but it seems to be two supports and a carry, and the two supports just stack fountains on the first round, and yeah, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, Onslaught is very fun. I will continue playing lots of Onslaught. And yeah, I recommend you checking it out. So next we're going to talk about Varia, the new hero. So Varia, if you didn't know, is a electric Valkyrie who can chain lightning attacks to enemies. She has absolutely insane damage potential, but there's a catch. She gets absolutely torn apart by literally any melee hero. Her rare talent, is that her Stormforged Spear stuns, which gives her a little bit of peel, but that is only in brawl modes. Outside of brawl modes, the only escape or mobility that she has is her arc recursion, which is very awkwardly targeted and really should not count as an escape ability. So, and then add that to the fact that Stormforged Spear in its regular form, not empowered by arc recursion, has a wind-up time. Now, this makes her absolutely useless against things like Blackfeather and Taka, because they can just get in close, and that's the end of Varia. But if you can draft her in the right spot, she has the longest range, I think, in the entire game on a mage type A ability. Stormforged Spear is such a long range. It's absolutely crazy. And then her ultimate is global, so I think she is the epitome of backline. If you can get up close to Varia, you can kill Varia. It's pretty much as simple as that. So now that we've talked a little bit about Varia, let's talk about the hero balance changes in 2.11. Now, I've highlighted a few of these as to which ones I think are super important, and the first one is actually one that I think is super important, and that is that Alpha has been nerfed. Her reboot has been her base, or the minimum reboot that she can have is down, or was increased from 2 seconds to 2.5 seconds. Basically what Nivmet said is that people were hitting the cap of 2 seconds too quickly by using energy and energy recharge items, and then also her A is now going to do less damage and less damage per stack, so that's Prime Directive with Crystal Power. So we've been seeing so much Alpha domination in the last few patches, and well, yes, Alpha's my favorite hero lore and character wise, it gets old after a while. So these are welcome changes, and I know that in a few months I'll probably be thinking, why can't we have Alpha in the meta again? Because that's just how everyone's mind works. The players don't know what they want, and it's up to the devs to figure out what they want. Next nerf is Arden. His health has gone down a little bit, and he can no longer have double gauntlet. When you use an Echo with Gauntlet, casting the second one makes the first one disappear. The reason they gave for this is that double Gauntlet was putting a absolutely crazy amount of strain on people that have lower end devices, even causing the game to crash. And it also absolutely destroys Skye and other heroes like Skye, so I think double Gauntlet might have been a little bit unbalanced. Lastly, a little bit of a buff to Arden's B. He gets 40%, I think, more damage now when he overdrives that, instead of the 25 that it was before. Moving on, we have a CP Baron nerf. His Porcupine Mortar was reduced by 20% on the crystal ratio, so that's from 190 to 170%. So this is a good change, but it doesn't change how annoying. This is not going to be able to change how annoying his epic talent is. CP Baron 20% is not going to hurt him. When you're actually playing CP Baron in a standard ranked match, that 20% isn't going to really do very much. He's still going to be putting out crazy crystal power numbers when you actually hit those Porcupine Mortars. It's just not going to two-shot people anymore if you can get ahead. It was a little bit unfair if you were actually able to get to that Shatterglass Clockwork quickly on CP Baron. So this is probably going to bring him back in line a little bit. Next, Batiste's Ordained cooldown was increased. They said that people were abusing Clockwork to spam Ordained. I can understand that, although Batiste wasn't really exactly an overpowering pick. Anyways, moving on. Blackfeather's health ratio of on point was nerfed from 13 to 12%. Blackfeather seems to be the new hero that they just nerf every single patch, and he just still keeps being played. I don't think really anything except removing his sword entirely is going to take Blackfeather out of the meta, but at least he is going to lose a small bit of durability with this change. Moving on, Celeste's supernova ratio was reduced from 220% to 200%. I don't really understand this change, to be honest, because it's not like we are seeing a lot of Celeste, but it is Super Evil's job to foresee like which heroes are going to come into play more based on what heroes are being nerfed. So maybe they saw that based on the other things they were buffing and nerfing, they maybe predicted Celeste was going to come out on top in the mage category and had to nerf her accordingly. I don't know. I trust Super Evil, so oh well. Flicker's stealth time has been reduced on his ult from 1.2 seconds to 0.8 seconds. I don't think this is enough to make him meta though, although it is a nice quality of life change. There's only so far you can go with a hero that is countered by a 50 gold consumable or a 25 gold consumable, those being flares and scout traps. But anyways, that doesn't mean I hate Flicker. I still love Flicker. He's probably my favorite support besides Churnwalker. Glaive had his base health increased. Grace had her energy cost go down on Holy Nova. She has more base armor and shield, and the base damage reduction on Benediction with her Holy Shields has gone up by 10%. CP Idris had his ratios increased, though that for his divergent paths and like the little ranged basic attacks he throws, those are going to be doing 10% more damage now, up from 90 to 100%. CP Idris in general also got a Shroud Step damage empowerment buff across all levels, so he's going to be hitting significantly harder with that first basic attack after Shroud Step. The reason they gave for this was that after the global health changes, Idris just didn't really work anymore, so they wanted to give him a little bit of a buff. CP Jewel had her Thunderstrike ratio increased by 25%. Now, I'm excited for this. Also, this is my favorite change of the patch. Big Red Button had its crystal ratio increased by 50%. CP Jewel has not seen play in, let me count the patches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 patches. That's from update 1.5 to update 2.11, I believe. You know what, my math could be wrong on that, but the point stands. CP Jewel has been gone for so long, and I really hope that we can see her back in update 2.11 and going forward. Kashka had the base damage increased on her Pouncy Fun, and the empowered attack ratio up by 10% on her Twirly Death. Curl's smite damage per stack is down at all levels now. Lorelei has more differentiation between her Crystal Power and her Roam paths. So health ratios were added to her stun duration and bubble barrier and pool slow. Also, for the Crystal Power Lyra path, the stun duration and bubble barrier and pool slow of the abilities has been reduced. However, her damage amp from standing inside the pools is up. Rhyme's perk was given a better ratio. I think it was up 10% from 70 to 80 on his fortified health. Also, the amount of fortified health that he gets from dealing damage is now up by has now been buffed. I don't remember the numbers, but they definitely were significant. Lyra, Imperial Sigil was nerfed all around. Speed boost, the burst heal, and the heal in general. Now, also, her first basic attack ratio has been increased by 10%, so they're trying to give carry Lyra a little bit more love while decreasing. Frankly, Lyra has been broken since she was released. So yeah, they're just trying to make Roam Lyra a little bit less of a priority pick. Ringo had his base weapon power increased from level 1 to 12, and he was given 0.2 bonus range. So Ringo's basic attacks, instead of being 6 range, are now 6.2 range. I hope that this brings Ringo back. Ringo has always been a really mechanically skilled hero and always really fun to watch. Also, Truth loves Ringo, so I hope Ringo can come back into the meta. Rona's Red Mist cooldown has been raised from 4 to 6 seconds, and her fortified health generated by Red Mist per second has gone down. Rona has been absolutely oppressive for the last couple patches, and I can't wait to see her gone. Samuel's A damage has been increased by 5%. That's Malice and Verdict. It now has a 105% crystal ratio on both shots. Also, the overdrive on his Drifting Dark does no longer give it a speed boost. The problem here was that if you overdrive your Drifting Dark and you accidentally get knocked out of it, it's too fast for you to get back into it. So yeah, they removed that. Also, I think this change is pretty important because I bet a lot of you guys aren't watching East Asian Vainglory videos, like the Korean Vainglory 8 with Japan too. But I have, and for some reason, they love Samuel. Even in his current state for the last few patches, you know he hasn't been seeing any play in North America. Samuel is a consistently picked and banned hero in East Asia, so I'm excited to see what they can do with him moving into Worlds. Saw's Suppressing Fire had its damage decreased. Sky's Weapon Power Forward Barrage had its ratio increased by 20%. Vox's perk, when it gives him the crystal power damage for resonance bounces, has been increased from 90 to 100%, and the bonus resonance bolt damage given by Pulse has been increased across all levels. Now, CP Vox has not seen play since about 1.9, I would say. Actually, I don't remember exactly when CP Vox got nerfed, but it's been a while. So I hope we can start to see more CP Vox for these changes. Now let's talk about a few items, and at the end we're going to give a shout out to one special talent which hopefully we will never see again. Dragon's Eye is now like the old Broken Myth in terms of stack generation and fall off. This means that it's easier to generate and retain your stacks. Means you're not going to be losing them as quickly, and it takes a little bit less to get the stacks in general. Serpent's Mask now gives you 100 weapon power instead of, I think it was 85. Shiver Steel now gives 25% bonus attack speed, has a higher cost, a lower cooldown, and builds out of Dragonheart and Blazing Salvo. This is interesting because Shiver Steel has literally never been meta since, let me see, 1.6, 1.7, when people would play Krull with Shiver Steel Breaking Point. But anyways, moving on, Spell Sword now gives you 110 weapon power, and all aspects of its energy regen and passive energy gain have been buffed. So Spell Sword is going to be better now. I'm not sure if it makes it a worth item. Have to do the math on that one later. Lastly, but not least, this is without a doubt the best change of the entire patch. Kath's rare talent has been nerfed. The timer is now where the timer before her stacks fall off is now less. So basically, if she dies, she's probably not going to be able to retain the stacks. So yeah, that is going to be it for this video, guys. I'm probably sounding a little bit weird because during my recording this, my nose just started bleeding, and I'm leaning back right now trying to finish the video before stuffing tissues into my nose. So let's all rejoice that the Kath rare talent is banned, and pray for me that I don't bleed out, and I'll see you guys all later. Hope you enjoyed the video.